Hello, my name is Marcia Campbell, and I'll be addressing some advantages and challenges faced by physicians and or nurse practitioners when volunteering their time to precept nurse practitioner students without the expectation of compensation for their time and service. In conclusion, I'll be discussing my own perspective and rationale. But first, I want to talk about some terminology that you will hear me use throughout the presentation, and you may be unfamiliar with it. So, the first one is preceptor. Now, the preceptor is simply the instructor. Now, the instructor in this case is actually the physician and or nurse practitioner. The act of instructing a nurse practitioner student is called precepting. So, just a little twist of the tongue, the preceptor will be precepting the nurse practitioner student. Now, this is more than just a shadowing experience that the students receive. This is hands-on, face-to-face experience. Now, typically what you'll see in this type of preceptorship is that the nurse practitioner student is the first contact for the patient. They'll go in, make their assessment, return to the physician or the preceptor with their assessment. Then the preceptor will return to the room, do the same, make their assessment, and after dismissing the patient, the preceptor and the nurse practitioner will meet once again to go over the findings. And, the preceptor will simply just mentor the student and make sure that they are on the right track. So, precepting students is a common practice in medical education. But the question is it reasonable to expect that a preceptor not be compensated for their time or their service? Now, I want to talk quickly about some advantages and challenges that preceptors face. So, one advantage is that the preceptors do receive professional development credit for the experience, and it typically goes to renewing their license. Two, they're giving back to the community, not just themselves dealing with the patient, but also for the nurse practitioner student. It is our hope that the students themselves will return what was received from what they got out the experience to other students. Three, this allows the physician to stay current. So when they're meeting with the students and the students is more than likely discussing their own education or what they are currently being taught with the physician, this helps the physician to stay current with the latest medical practices. Four, increased preceptor recognition. Now, some of the challenges, one of them is the most important, we all already discussed, is that this is time consuming for the preceptor. Two, there's no financial incentive for the preceptor. Three, there's potential burnout because they have to balance not only their current clinical site, but also their teaching responsibilities. And four, they are precepting students with a lot of varied background and experience. So this may require more guidance and instruction of the preceptor, which increases the demand on the preceptor's time and resources. In conclusion, there are great advantages for both the preceptor and the student, but the question is again, is it reasonable to expect the preceptor throughout their career to precept students without the expectation of compensation? Now, personally, I say absolutely not. Preceptors spend a lot of time with these students and to make sure that they're prepared to function once they graduate. So, compensation, definitely, preceptors should be compensated for their time and effort. Now, just to put this in a little bit of perspective, a physician in the course of a semester could take on 1 to 10 students. And this is throughout the entire semester, every Monday through Friday expectation. And this is burdensome for the preceptor. Now, these students are coming out of state from the University of Michigan Flint, University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, Michigan State University, Detroit Mercy, Wayne State University. They're coming from all over and expecting a great preceptorship experience. So when you think about it, is it reasonable for the preceptor to use their time, their experience, in this particular way without compensation? Now, compensation does not mean that it has to be monetary, but what could happen is that instead of it always being monetary, allowing the preceptor access to the school's library, access to the gym. So it not necessarily means that it has to be monetary, but it definitely the preceptor definitely should be compensated for their expertise. So I want to thank you for taking the time to hear my presentation. I address the advantages and challenges that preceptors face, and also gave my own perspective when it comes to preceptor compensation. Thank you.